This video is supported by Profit Accumulator. Profit Accumulator helps you to earn extra money by doing something called match betting. Match betting isn't gambling. And when you do it properly, and I mean properly, you can't lose. So get involved right now. Click the link in the description and sign up to Profit Accumulator right now.
Hi and welcome to the Stats Review Show with myself, Cecil G, and then my guy to the left, James B. We'll be, and I'm smiling now, but we'll be breaking down the stats from yesterday's game against Aston Villa. It's a sad affair of what happened yesterday, the 3-0 loss. We'll be breaking it down. It's a completely different energy from last week against United. So we're gonna get into it. But before we crack on, I just want to say, as you can see, we're back. We're back at home. Myself and James. Yes, was at the studio yesterday, but was following COVID-19 regulations. We was allowed to film. We kept our distance. But for shows like this, we feel like ourselves and Don Robbie feel it's best for us to be at home, as we're not just walking around the office and conversating and stuff. It's safer just to stay at home for these sort of shows. So that's the reasoning behind it. And should be back at live streams very soon after the international break. But there's still plenty of content to come. So as always, stay plugged in with AFTV. And yeah, let's get into this, James. Right, let's go. Come shock. Actually, no, don't even shock me. Prove me right of all the things we said in our pre-match, and prove me right of how poor we were yesterday. Let's go. What we got?
The stats. The stats don't look good. You know, sometimes you can get heated. We've said this before, but you can get quite heated after a game. It's quite it's very raw. You give your fan cam, you give your opinion, and then you look back and you're like, maybe it wasn't so bad. Maybe it was just a bad day, or whatever. Stats don't really tell us that story today. The stats prove what we all knew, which was that we were absolutely shocking. Let's just go into this first one. Arsenal have only won one of their 6 games under Mikel Arteta when trailing at half-time. Well, I'm not sure they've got this one right. So this one's one that Opta sent to us. 2 draws and 4 defeats. But I think the thing that's interesting in this is they have gone on to lose each of the previous 4. And I think what's interesting is, my word, we were not always perfect under Wenger in those latter years. But there's one thing I could say was that when we went behind, we had fight. Like, we were able to turn things around. And actually, if we went a goal down, that kind of became a bit standard for us. Like, we're sloppy at the back. But you know what? We're going to score goals, and it's gonna work for us.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, now. Sorry, I was gonna say now that we don't do that at all. And sorry to cut you there, but again, we agree. Like, is that down to not having enough leaders in the team, or having a leader in the team? And I think it partly is because of Partey from when we went down yesterday. Even though he wasn't playing the best game, even when he went, that leader figure left that midfield, and we got absolutely dominated after that. So I feel like you're right. We have no spine when we go down anymore. And again, I keep speaking about it. There's no plan B. So when we go down, if we go down, there's no one taking rather the game by the scruff of the neck, or the manager hasn't got the answers for us conceding. So yeah, it's not good.
I think the last time we went behind was the FA Cup final. We beat Chelsea 2-1. And in that game, you know, we started badly, and it was a tremendous response from the players. But the thing is that Chelsea probably wanted to attack us more, probably wanted to play a slightly more open game, probably fancied themselves to outscore us. Whereas we came against a Villa yesterday that, yes, they pressed really well and they attacked brilliantly. I'm not taking anything away from them because they dominated. But they were very sturdy at the back. They were very reliable. They were very, they had an answer for everything we threw at them. But I must say, we threw very little. We turned up to a wall with a pair of scissors. Like, we were just so blunt in attack, so predictable.
I mean, scissors is generous, James, bro. They can do some damage. To people.
Cool and pointless, but with a Swiss Army knife, maybe even that can do more damage than we did. But my point is, right, that last stat, if I just bring it back up again, they've gone on to lose each of their previous 4 games they've trailed in. That just tells you everything, man. Tells you everything. When the going gets tough and we need to try and make something happen and nick a goal, we can't do it. And the stat that worries me the most, and I've not got it in a graphic here, is that since the last international break, we scored 1 goal and it was a penalty. That is embarrassing. That must be the worst in the league. That must be the worst. I think everybody else has scored from open play and scored more than one, surely.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Maybe United. Yeah, United. Yeah. Because I know Penalty.
I think even West Brom did. I've not got their results to hand, but everyone, probably in all 5 of the top leagues. Like, that is an appalling stat. That is so worrying.
Yeah, James. No, I agree.
Cheery start.
Say that again.
Cheery start.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. I'm trying to figure out what we can get. What we can get from this. But yeah, sorry, people, all the fans and people watching. It's not going to be smiles and great stats. I don't believe that are going to come from James.
But also anyone who's thinking, oh, they're just here to rant and rave. Like, guys, like, some of the stats here are going to really prove a point and are hopefully going to enlighten us on where our issues are in the team. And with that said, should we move on to the next one?
Yep, let's keep it going. These stats proving us right.
Gabriel attempted 81 passes, completing just 65. Now, in fairness, there's a lot of players that can be picked on for their passing accuracy, losing possession, all that for yesterday. The reason I picked Gabriel was, for all our attacking problems, the one thing Arteta's done really well with us is got us playing out the back well and feeding the ball from defence to midfield brilliantly via structures and systems or whatever. When you look at that, Gabriel, I didn't even notice how much he lost the ball yesterday, Gabriel. It was more Tierney I picked out. We're going to talk about Tierney in a bit. But when I look at that, I'm thinking, wow. So we didn't even get the fundamentals right. It's not like we played into midfield and then we had nothing. We had nothing from the back. We had nothing. All day we had nothing. Even Gabriel, who has been so reliable passing out the back, who's very confident, dominant defender, who, even if a pass isn't on, he will carry the ball forward and maybe beat a man. We had nothing. And he came out looking like someone who had a decent game amongst everyone else. So, good.
Listen, put that stat back up. Just pop it back up for me. Pop it back up. Tell me, who did more passes than Gabriel in the team yesterday at Arsenal? Who did more? Anyone? It's a no. It's a no, right? Talk to me. No one outbeat him in the passes, right? No one outbeat Gabriel in Arsenal yesterday for the amount of passes. He did the most, and he completed the most. That says it all. Gabriel, yeah. Who got more passes than Gabriel? No one, right? Am I right?
I think you're right. Yeah.
I'm right. There's no one did more passes. 81 passes. Gabriel did the most, and he also completed the most. Successfully, which is 65, like we just had up there. So that just says it all. Gabriel and Luiz have been our creators, really. Obviously Saka at times, but creators going forward. They put the ball and break the lines of the other team's defenses, and we struggled massively without the likes of Luiz starting, which we commented before the game he should have been starting. So yeah, that stat is fascinating to me.
Yeah, bro, man, it's worrying. Let's go into another one. Right, you got that on your screen?
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
Didn't manage a single shot on goal. Robbie mentioned this in our news show this morning. Shocking stat. Pepe managed 2 in the. I put in 25 minutes. He was approximately on 25, 30 minutes or so. Oba, however, did make 2 key passes. The reason I put in that last sentence there was I actually didn't think Aubameyang, for what he was asked to do and the restrictions he had, I actually don't think he had a bad game. I thought he looked all right and he looked like he was trying to make something happen. He was putting the ball in the box. But like, oh my God, I mean, should be him getting on the end of these.
Again, I know, I agree. Again, I'm going to highlight it again, James. Sorry to cut you again. But like I just said about Gabriel having the most passes, the person who matched that, Pepe's that stat of having the most shots on target, was Partey as well. It was Pepe and Partey. Partey had, was it 2 shots on target? Total shots was 2, 1 on target, and that's the highest that we had yesterday, matching Pepe. And do you know how much of that's a problem in itself? Partey was only on the pitch for 45 minutes. Do you know what I mean? He's a midfielder.
No.
Midfielder.
And that chance he had as well was, I'm pretty sure he was in on goal, and he was trying to. So it came from his press. So it's not like we even worked a good chance. It was just Partey running and making something happen. Shocking, absolutely shocking. Let's move on to the next one, because I don't want to go on Aubameyang too much. He's being asked to do something that doesn't come naturally to him, and he's done a very good job at it. But you can see that teams have sussed it out now. And I think it goes back to when Guardiola put 2 right backs on him, and people have realised actually if you could stop Arsenal's left-hand side, pretty much stop their threat. Let's go to this next one, which I think this is a bad stat. Let's have a little look here. Kieran Tierney lost possession 23 times against Villa. This is the most an Arsenal player has lost possession in a league game this season. The second highest is also Tierney, 21 times versus City. Now, that wasn't given to us. I mean, the numbers were all logged by Opta and everything. But I went digging for that stat. It wasn't one that sort of they sent through to us. And the reason I went digging for it was Tierney was awful yesterday. Awful. And I was looking at it thinking, what? Yeah, was he as bad as I remembered? Anyway, losing possession 23 times. There's a reason he stood out, because that was the most any player for Arsenal has lost possession this season.
Yeah. Second
most as well against City was Tierney. And there are moments in that game where no one's getting off scot-free here. Like every player is going to be mentioned at some point today.
Yeah.
Kieran Tierney, there were moments where he had the ball and you thought, okay, defended that well. Now let's do something with it. He just pumped it up the pitch.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, what are you doing? This is exactly the level of recklessness we don't need right now. We need players to show composure. And do you know who we missed yesterday? And I can't believe I'm saying this. We missed Granit Xhaka. We missed someone who is disciplined in his positioning and is composed when playing out the back and can link the movement. And he might have given, look, hindsight's a wonderful thing. He might have given us an air of calm in those opening 20, 30 minutes where we weren't really getting going.
Yeah.
And I looked at the players out there, Rob Holding, dancing, jittering at the legs every time Grealish or Barkley got the ball. Tierney pumping it up. Bellerin, in fairness, Bellerin got a lot of stick by a lot of people in the studio yesterday, but I thought he was probably the best of the back four. But everyone was terrible, and Bellerin wasn't great.
Barring Gabriel.
Barring Gabriel, but I think Gabriel as well. Like the questions weren't asked of him; it was Grealish who was asking questions, right? Gabriel struggled against Watkins all game. And look, I love Kieran Tierney. I love the guy. I think we've got a future captain in him. But he's not looked at it for a few weeks now. And when you look at the numbers and you go crunching into him at possession lost, have a little dig back, Cecil. You'll see Tierney ranks up there for possession lost in almost every game.
Yeah.
He loses possession a lot. And he's got that sort of get it out mentality, clear the danger. That's fine. I don't mind that. But everyone should be doing that a balanced amount of times throughout the game. He's doing it more than everyone else.
Yeah,
love the guy, but worth pointing this out.
Yeah, to contradict you a little bit, and just to challenge that, I listen. We all watched it with both our own eyes. Kieran Tierney was poor yesterday. However, there's also another stat I dug for, because I had the same thing when I got back last night from the studio. I was like, I'm going to rewatch it and really pick at what's going on here. So Tierney had the most touches out of every Arsenal player. I don't know if you've seen it's 103 touches. So he had the most out of every Arsenal player. So that kind of makes sense why he lost it the most. It doesn't make sense why he lost it the most. He should be keeping it. But it makes sense of the numbers that he's getting on the ball the most. It's likely he may lose it or lose it the most. But again, I haven't looked back at all the games, and he may be consistent with losing it the most, which is definitely a problem that Arteta needs to be aware of. But I also think Arteta might be saying, get Tierney on the... I don't know, I feel like if he's having the most touches, and he must be getting... But I don't think, sorry, before you go, I don't think he's being coached to do much with it, because when we watched him, he would drive forward and then stop and then turn around. He's like scared to either make that pass or drive past the midfield line. I feel like he's being coached in a way that I actually don't understand right now.
Two things there. I don't blame Tierney too much. I think the movement in front of him from Saka and Aubameyang wasn't great. But there's an amazing stat in tennis that I wish we could see more of in football. They call it unforced errors. Basically, how many mistakes did you make that you weren't forced into making? Now, it's a slightly subjective stat because, how do you measure whether something was forced or not? But I would say that Tierney made a lot of unforced errors yesterday. There are a lot of times where actually he didn't need to make the mistake or lose possession, and he did. And that is why it was very noticeable to a lot of us.
I agree, James. I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with his performance, and like I just said, like I was watching, he just kept turning back, which I guess could be down to the people in front of him not being an option and hiding. A lot of players make careers from just hiding behind players, but again, the lumping it forward, is it's a problem in a sense of there was no outlet. Like if you're lumping it forward, you're not even hitting it into an area. We were just literally lumping it forward, but Aston Villa pick up possession, drive back at us. So
his ball to Aubameyang down the wing when it was a simple pass in behind, couldn't do it. But anyway, look, sorry, Kieran, I'm not trying to go in on him. He's been superb since he joined the club. I love the guy. James is his future captain. But we're going to say it as it is. He was abysmal yesterday. He was as bad as Willian. However, I'll give him credit. He put the best ball in the box and created the best chance. So, that's on Arteta as well to get him in positions where he can do that more often. Let's look at this. A few myths.
Okay.
Danny Ceballos taking possession 7 times in one half to El Neni's 5 in 90 minutes. Now, why am I mentioning this? The reason I'm bringing this up is we spoke about it in our build-up show, how good Ceballos has looked at the defensive side of things for Arsenal against Mulder. And I know it's Mulder, but he's actually proving to be a really tenacious individual in the middle of the field. He wins the ball back a lot. He intercepts. He gets stuck in. He reads the game really well. And I think this idea, say Arteta really wants to be pragmatic and really wants to be cautious.
Yeah.
El Neni might have a better engine. He might have better stamina. But he doesn't read the game better than Ceballos. And so actually, putting El Neni in the team instead of Ceballos, it might benefit you slightly in terms of energy in midfield. But actually, it totally hinders you because of the attacking threat that El Neni lacks to Danny Ceballos. Ceballos is a better ball carrier. He plays better passes. He's a bit more intricate, a little bit more snappy on the edge of the area or in tight positions. Now, I know this is a week on, and we were just praising El Neni for how good he was at Old Trafford, but that was a game that suited him, running around, covering long distances, trying to press, holding a shape. We needed something different from our midfield yesterday. And Danny Ceballos would have given us that without conceding anything defensively. And I think Arteta got to realise that you can depend on Ceballos to do it. You don't need an El Neni or a Xhaka. Partey and Ceballos can do that themselves, especially if it's a 2-man midfield.
Yeah, you broke it down perfectly there, James. Honestly, like you said, we spoke about it in our pre-match, and you've swayed me as well to be a part Ceballos fan. It's just in the way that we need to play for a certain team. I feel like that's what the biggest factor here is United was a different outfit and a different way to win the game. Because if we remember correctly, we didn't have many chances at United. Let's not get it twisted. We played better. We definitely played better, and we had the right mentality, the pressing, the aggression, everything. That was fine. But we still didn't create loads of chances. We scored from penalties. So
no, we didn't create loads. No,
exactly. So that's say again.
Sorry, the attacking shape was better, but I agree with you.
Yeah, exactly. So then when we come up to a team that like Villa, who have they had a good midfield yesterday, and they can cause us loads of problems. That's when the Ceballos should be playing and breaking lines. When he came on, he was running through the midfield. He wasn't. I saw him dart through two Aston Villa players, just to go push forward to the attacking third. And I was like, I haven't seen that. I don't see players breaking the lines. The Elneny and the Partey's, and Xhaka's in a sense as well. They just lock it down for us and break things up, but they're never the ones to push forward. So, yeah, I think, I'll say I got that wrong.
This stat was interesting. Not that it makes any difference, but it is interesting. How much more dominant we were down the right-hand side. Good to see it. Good to see it more balanced. Probably highlighted why Willian. Well, it's probably what highlighted how badly Willian played. Was that actually he was seeing much more of the ball, and so we just noticed it more. Again, people on Bellerin's case feel sorry for the guy. I actually think, as bad as he was in moments, a lot of our better moments came through him. He was trying to make things happen. He was trying to get him beyond. But look, whatever, can't really read much into that. It was
you can't read too much because obviously, as a player, like remember Grealish came down that side that we had most percentage down. So think about it, if we're breaking up, most of the play actually went down that side. So the right side. So when we got the ball in one possession, it was normally that side, and then we'll attack straight down that side, even though it wasn't really attacked, if I'm honest.
Yeah. This is the last thing I want to go into before we wrap up.
Yeah.
So these are the average positions of both teams, and I think the things I want to pick out here, if we look at Arsenal first, Tierney, Saka, Aubameyang, all holding pretty much the same side of the pitch.
Yeah.
You know, modern football, a flank, whether it's the left or right, is typically dominated by one player. And it's typically the right back or the left back. Guardiola did it slightly differently. He had Sane and Sterling who would dominate down those sides. But generally, it's your right back and your left back who overlap, and everyone else is a bit more central. We have three. We have three left-sided players. You'd think there was a goal down that side. You know, when they do the warm-ups and they have the 2 goals, you'd think they left it on.
They left it out. They left it out, James. I'm telling you, they left it out.
Like, you know me, I don't normally get this vocal, but like that is, what is the plan? And then if you go into it more, look at Lacazette. He's
I was just about to say that. He is so deep and ridiculously deep, actually. And if I'm honest, if you're gonna get that deep, you have to do something with it. He didn't. He didn't at all.
But then do I blame him? Because this is clearly an area of the pitch that doesn't come naturally to him. It's not good enough. But then let's counter that with Villa's system. Look at that. You can see their back 4. Trezeguet didn't get quite as high up, but look at Grealish. We mentioned he's always one of the highest players up the pitch. They targeted our right-hand side. But yes, they targeted it, but look how central they are. If you look at the width of the penalty area, Grealish, Watkins, and Barkley all fit within it.
Yeah.
Which shows you they picked up their average position. They were picking up the ball in central areas where they could hurt us, where they could be inventive and creative and express themselves. Barkley, Watkins, Grealish would all walk into our starting 11 right now. They would.
I can't disagree.
They would. They absolutely would. You'd probably have to makeshift Aubameyang somehow to get him in there, but they would get into our starting 11. Watkins, as a hold-up player, was Lacazette, showed him up yesterday. I'm not saying he's a better player than Lacazette. Lacazette's been off form, but Watkins has been on form for a year, go back to his time in the Championship, and he's scoring goals at the moment in the league, and he looks class, and he looked like he could do it all. People are going to say you're being reactionary, but sometimes having a better midfield isn't about personnel. If I put out 4 Parteys, are you telling me that's a good balanced midfield? It's not. Partey's world class, but it's not balanced. And so that midfield, the 4 Parteys, is not as good as Villa's midfield, and balance is everything, and we don't have that. You can see from having 3 left-sided players. Sorry, Cecil, I'm going on, but you can see from the 3 left-sided players, and you could see from having 2 DMs in Elneny and Partey, and no number 10, totally imbalanced. Go on, what's your take on that?
I'm gonna say that was very passionate. I'm gonna say first Partey. I'm not gonna say he's world class yet, so I don't co-sign that one just yet. But I'm gonna say if we had a solid spine. I spoke about it recently. Like we got a goalie, got Leno, got Gabriel now. I think the defense is fine. Partey in that defensive midfield. But going forward from there, it's not a spine. It's not a complete spine yet. We're half a spine. We're loose. We're like this because there's no creativity in that midfield there. Then the attacking. I'm sorry, the spine of the centre striker Lacazette can't be holding up that position. He needs to give it over to Aubameyang, and we need to try something different. And yeah, again, like you said, a lot of those players could definitely walk into Arsenal's team. As a matter of fact, a few players from other clubs could. That I'm sure people would be surprised to hit. Well, they wouldn't be surprised. I'm sure they're aware that we are midfield, boy. Still a problem.
But again, I'm not saying that these players walk in because they're better as individual footballers than to what we've got. It's just that we're talking balance here. We're talking about balance, and we lack it massively. So they had 4 real technicians on the pitch yesterday in McGinn, Barkley, Grealish, Watkins. Players who can press and work hard and do the rough stuff, but who, when they get the ball at their feet, are inventive, are different, can work space and express themselves. And we lack that. And that is such a shame, because it's the one thing through all the dark times as an Arsenal fan. And other fans are looking at us going, "What do you mean dark times? Shut up." And it's probably fair enough. But through all the moments where we weren't, through all the moments where we weren't where we wanted to be since 2007, 8 or whatever, at least we had beautiful footballers. Don't have that now.
Yeah, we had players that when the going gets tough, we can rely on their ability to pull something out of the game, or even at least play a certain way where we're like, you know what, yeah, we lost, but at least they played a certain way that we can say, you know what, yeah, this at least they had fight, and they still got their ability, and they made things happen. So just before on this last one, just before we go, Villa came and they took the mick. If you actually watch the confidence way they played, like watching it back, they were doing 1-2s, reverse balls, dangling their legs, toying with defenders. You would never see that at the moment from Arsenal. I've yet to see it. I feel Arteta is being very rigid in what he wants, and he's not allowing the players to express themselves. These are players that are national team players. They play for their countries. They have ability. They're big price. Well, I'm not talking about price tags, but you know, I mean, they are big. They're big price tag players, and they've got experience in big games. They should be able to express themselves. They've been in the game for a while, so let them do what they're supposed to do. That's my little rant, because yeah, I just can't believe how Villa came and what they did to us. Honestly, we're literally taking the mick. So yeah, that's it. Is there anything else you want to touch on before we leave? I believe that's it.
I've got it all out now. Fan cam, the new show, and this. And now we honestly need to say onwards and upwards. It's crap. This is going to take a while to settle in, but
yeah. Well, listen, thank you everyone for watching. That is your stats review show of yesterday's poor performance against Villa. Thank you for watching again. Before we go, everyone, make sure you stay safe, stay indoors, and yeah, let's beat this virus. Yeah, thanks for watching.
This video is supported by Profit Accumulator. Profit Accumulator helps you to earn extra money by doing something called match betting. Match betting isn't gambling. And when you do it properly, and I mean properly, you can't lose. Now, you always see these promotions by bookmakers like Ladbrokes, William Hill's, Corals, offering a £50 bonus to customers. So you sign up and you might place a £50 bet on a coin toss landing on heads, and a £50 bet on the same coin toss landing on tails. Now, whichever way it lands, it don't matter, because you won't win or lose any money because you've covered all of the outcomes. However, you get the £50 bonus, so you're still £50 up. Now, lots of people try to do match betting on their own, but it's very time consuming and not always easy if you don't know what you're doing. That's where Profit Accumulator come in. Even if you don't know anything about sports, they walk you through everything step by step, showing you how to accumulate money into your bank account. So get involved right now. Click the link in the description and sign up to Profit Accumulator right now.